If you are thinking about picking one up, I just want to walk you through my experience of using it at home, what it does well, what it does not do, and the kinds of people I think it makes sense for. My first reaction, seeing it in person, was that it looks clean and modern without trying too hard. The side lighting is noticeable, especially in a dim room, but it is not so bright that it feels distracting. The chair has that big massage chair shape, so it is not something you forget is in the room, but it also does not look like medical equipment. The material feels like the kind of synthetic leather you can wipe down quickly, which matters if you plan to use it after workouts or if more than one person uses it in the house. What this chair is really for, in my experience, is a steady, repeatable full body routine that you can actually stick with day to day. It is not the chair I would choose if my only goal was to hammer one specific knot in my upper back as hard as possible. It is more of a consistent, relaxing session that covers a lot of areas without me having to constantly adjust things. A big thing to understand is the back rollers are two-dimensional. That means the rollers move up and down and side to side. They do not push in and out to change depth, so the back massage lands in what I would call moderate pressure. For me, that ended up being a positive most evenings. It is smooth, and it is easier to relax into. When I want something more aggressive, this chair is not my first pick, and I do not pretend it is. If you are sensitive to pressure, or you want something you can use every day without feeling sore after, the two-dimensional feel makes sense. The track the rollers run on is long, and you feel it because it does not stop at your lower back. It keeps going under the seat area and it catches the glutes. After a long day at a desk, that extra coverage is one of the things I noticed right away. A lot of chairs feel like they do the same few passes on the mid-back and then call it a day. Here, I felt more like it was doing a full sweep. The motion on my back also feels less like a straight line up and down and more like a wider pattern, almost like it is tracing overlapping loops. It makes the session feel more complete even without that extra depth control you get on some other chairs. The recline is a big part of how this chair feels. I use the zero gravity position almost every time. It is a button press, and it shifts your weight so your legs are raised and your back is more supported. What I notice in practice is my lower back stops bracing. The rollers feel more effective because I am not tensing up. If you have never used zero gravity before, it can feel a little strange for the first minute. Then your body kind of settles and it starts to make sense. There is heat in the lumbar area. It is not the kind of heat that makes you pull away. It is gentle and steady. I tend to turn it on early in the session, especially if I feel stiff, and I let it run while the rollers start moving. It helps me relax into the massage instead of feeling like I need to adjust my posture constantly. I do wish there was heat higher up the back or in the seat, because the warmth is limited to that lower back zone. It is still nice, I just want more coverage from it. Where I think the M380 Genki stands out most in daily use is the lower body massage. The calves do not just get squeezed by airbags. There is a kneading and shifting motion that actually works the muscle. I notice it the most after a run or a long walk, when my calves feel tight and heavy. I can tell the difference between a chair that just compresses and a chair that has real movement down there, and this one has that movement. It is one of the main reasons I kept coming back to this chair in the evening. The foot massage is also serious. There are rollers under the soles that feel like a Shiatsu-style pressure point roll, and there are airbags that press down over the top of your feet so it feels wrapped instead of just poked from underneath. If you are sensitive or ticklish, you should know it can feel intense at the start. I actually turned the foot intensity down for the first few days, just to get used to it. On days when I do not want that kind of foot pressure, I turn the foot rollers off and just keep the calf work going. I like having that option because not every day is a foot roller day. Controls are simple enough that I do not dread using it. The remote has a clear screen and it is not buried in confusing menus. During a session, I mostly adjust air intensity and foot settings, and those are easy to get to. There are automatic programs and there is a quick massage option when I just want something short without thinking. The voice control surprised me, mostly because I normally do not care about voice features. Here, it is actually useful when I am already reclined and I do not want to reach for the remote. I say the wake phrase, then I keep the commands short. It works better when I speak clearly and do not overcomplicate what I ask. I still use the remote plenty, but voice control is one of those things I ended up using more than I expected. The chair does a body scan at the start. You can feel the rollers travel and pause as it maps your shoulder height and shape. In real use, that means it hits the right zones more often without me needing to stop and correct it. I am not saying it is perfect every time, but it is consistent enough that I trust it. The neck and shoulder area is always a tricky spot on chairs, and here it usually lands where I want it, or close enough that a small adjustment fixes it. For setup, I did not have to do anything complicated. The chair is heavy, so moving it into position was the hardest part. Once it was where I wanted it, it was basically plug it in, power it on, and start. The space-saving design helps if you are putting it near a wall. When it reclines, it slides in a way that does not need a lot of clearance behind it. That made it easier for my room layout, because I did not want the chair sitting awkwardly in the middle of the space. Day to day, my routine is pretty consistent. I recline into zero gravity, turn on the lumbar heat, then I pick either a stress relief type program or something focused on neck and shoulders. If my legs are sore, I choose a lower body focus session, and I lower the foot roller intensity. I pair my phone to the built-in Bluetooth speakers and play a quiet playlist. The speakers sound fine for background audio, like music or a guided breathing track. It is not the kind of audio that fills a room with rich sound, but for what I use it for, it works. There is also a charging port, which I ended up using more than I thought. If I am in the chair for a full session, I like not worrying about my phone dying, especially if I am streaming something or running audio. Now, the limitations. The biggest one is still the back roller depth. Because it is two-dimensional, you do not get that adjustable push into the muscle. So if you are someone who wants a strong, targeted, deep pressure feeling in the back, this chair may feel a little too gentle. It is not weak, it is just not that style of massage. Another small frustration is the session length. The chair tends to cap sessions around 20 minutes, and when it ends, I have to start another program if I want to keep going. That is not a deal breaker, but it breaks the flow if I am trying to fully unwind. I also noticed the Bluetooth connection can drop when a program ends, and sometimes I have to reconnect it. When I am trying to relax, that is annoying. I also wish the chair handled multiple people a little better. You can save routines, which I did, but it is not the same as having separate user profiles that remember each person's height and preferences automatically. If you share the chair, you might spend a little time adjusting things depending on who used it last. One more thing I noticed is air coverage. You get good compression in the legs and parts of the upper body, but if you are someone who really wants airbags around the hips and outer thighs, this chair does not focus there the way some others do. I personally did not miss it most days, but it is worth saying out loud. Overall, after living with the Kyota M380 Genki, I keep using it because it is easy to start. It feels comfortable in zero gravity, and the calf and foot massage helps me the most in real life. It fits my routine when I want to relax before bed, when my legs feel tired after training, or when I have been sitting too long and I want my back and glutes to loosen up. If you want a chair that you can use consistently without fighting the controls, and you care a lot about leg and footwork, I think this one makes sense. If your priority is strong adjustable back pressure and you want that deeper push, I would look at a model that can change roller depth. I will leave detailed information about the Kyota M380 Genki in the comments for your reference. Thank you for watching.